It's almost been 6 months since my explant surgery, and I've had so many amazing questions about my surgery since my last video that I shared with you all about why I decided to get explant surgery done. And I've since created a course online to walk women through the journey of how to find a surgeon, how to prepare your body before your mind, and what to expect afterwards, and how to heal. The do's and don'ts, a lot of things that I wish I had discovered before I had my surgery. I've since interviewed over 100 women and surgeons and secretaries and doctors around breast implant illness and the surgery itself, as well as what the thoughts are on getting breast implants and when to decide to get them out, and all the little its and bits in between. And it's been such an incredible journey. And now I really want to give back. I want to give back to the women out there, because we are all one. We're a tribe of women. We're all connected. What impacts one woman impacts another woman. And the looking at my journey, which started 25 years ago when I got my breast implants in, and I was modeling. I just done The Price is Right in California. I had just traveled across the United States for a year with a major company as their spokesmodel, doing trade shows and runway shows and photography shoots for calendars and things for a year. I'd spent some time in Europe modeling, and I lived in Miami for several years, and I actually was a part owner in a modeling agency in Boca Raton, Florida. And it was all of these experiences that led me to getting breast implants. And it's incredible because I was just 25 years old. I was 23 years old when I got my implants 25 years ago. And that was, part of the journey of deciding to explant was digging inside to recognize, why did I want to get implants in the first place? Looking back on photos, thinking about experiences, and looking at the influences. What influenced me to go ahead and alter my body like that? And what were the deciding factors? Why is it that I didn't feel like I was enough as I was, that I needed to go ahead and get plastic surgery and have these medical devices put into my body? So the journey has been a powerful one. And at the end of the day, I recognized that being in the entertainment industry for 25 years, because after The Price is Right and the modeling agency, I went on to continue modeling, and that turned into an acting career, which was successful for almost a decade. And from there, I actually started to record music, and I worked with a Juno Award-winning producer to produce an album, and I ended up touring, and it was incredible. So I've had this incredible life in front of the camera, in front of an audience, where I really depended on my looks to fill my confidence level. I thought that without looking amazing, without looking the way that the world thought that I was supposed to look, or had told me that I was supposed to look, that I wouldn't belong, I wouldn't fit in, I wouldn't be lovable, I wouldn't be wanted, I wouldn't be enough. And that was a belief that I had made up based on the industry that I had been in. And now, social media, you don't have to be an actress or a model or a singer to feel the pressures of the way that you think that you're supposed to look. I struggled with an eating disorder in my late teens and early 20s because of the expectation of the woman to be slim. And now we're seeing that women are learning to love their bodies more and more and more the way that we are. As long as we're healthy, it doesn't matter how we look. And all of these contributing factors gave me the support that I needed to go ahead and explant. Of course, marrying the man of my dreams who didn't love me for my breasts, and having girlfriends that I would take a bullet for, like my best friends, they're my sisters. They don't love me because of my breast implants, and they don't love me because I do or don't have botox, which I don't. They don't love me for lip injections, or because of the kind of makeup I wear, or because of the labels that I wear in my clothing, which I don't. I've learned that I am enough. And to develop my confidence in myself and project that to the world in a way that is with kindness and compassion and caring, not egotistical or overcompensating for lack of confidence, to find that balance has been the greatest gift. And I had to go through the journey of all the things that I went through to get to the place I am right now. So one of the big questions that I get asked is, knowing what I know now about all the health things that I went through, and the self-doubt that I went through, and the money that I made having the implants, all those things, would I go back as my 23-year-old self and get those implants again? And the answer is yes, I would. Hindsight is always 2020, as they say. However, getting to that hindsight takes sometimes 10, 15, 20 years. So when I think back to age 23, although I had had some success in my modeling career with the breasts that I had, with the body that I had, I was always looking for more. I was always looking to belong, to fit in, to be more accepted, to be more popular, to earn more money, to make the cover instead of the inside. And maybe you can relate to that. When we constantly have our faces on social media, when we're always making videos and we're seeing ourselves in the mirror, we're seeing ourselves in our phone, we're seeing ourselves in photos from other people's phones, we become attached to the way that we think we're supposed to look. And so would I do it again? I probably would, because I didn't have the wisdom that I have now. And if I think about myself having that conversation with a 23-year-old me, would I listen? Well, my mom and my dad attempted many times to give me advice on multiple things, and I had to go out and fall down myself. I had to go and figure it out myself, get good grades at school, learn an instrument, learn multiple languages, all of these things that we know now to be so great as adults, we didn't really believe as younger adults or children even. So I don't think that I would have listened to anybody who had told me not to do it. Maybe if I'd listened to, actually, if I think about it, if I'd had a circle of influence of women that I really admired and respected, that had small breasts and had successful careers and happy relationships, if they had had real deep conversations with me that it's possible without altering the body, then I probably would have considered it, actually reconsidered, now that I think about it, which is interesting. So I bring this because it's important that we share with other people our journeys and not have an expectation of how it's going to be received. Just to share our journey with the hope or the intention that we are going to inspire, or we are going to trigger something in somebody so that they can have a different experience or a different outlook or a different perspective. And I'm really just shooting this video completely raw, unrehearsed, because I wanted to bring myself to you in answering these questions. And I knew it would be controversial for when somebody heard, would I do the same thing again despite everything that I know? And answering yes, I probably would. With that caveat that if I had a circle of influence, if I had felt appreciated and loved, or if I knew I did feel appreciated and loved, it was just the stories that I made up in my head that I wasn't enough. Honestly, I look back now at my modeling career and my acting career, my modeling career predominantly because I didn't have implants. When I had a very successful career, I was earning six figures in my early 20s before I had implants put in. So it doesn't make any sense to me that I went ahead and did it. And yet at the time, it just seemed like the thing to do. And I was definitely encouraged by my agents and by clients to go ahead and do that, because they weren't thinking about me and my life. They weren't thinking about the ramifications of putting implants into my body, that it might trigger an immune response, that it might end up that they're not so safe after all, that I would endure multiple surgeries down the road. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the moment. They're thinking about the money they can earn with me if I had bigger breasts, to do catalogs, to do, beer commercials, which typically back then had big breasted women, and I did a lot of beer commercials. I was, it's an interesting journey. And I knew it would be a controversial answer, but I look back and I think, what the heck? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? But I needed to come to here to look back and see that. So that's one of the big questions that I get asked. The other question that I get asked often is, what was it like to actually go through the whole process of the explant surgery? So let me share with you, there was an identity crisis for sure. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was going to be. I mean, I'd had these breasts as a part of me for 25 years. And so it's not like my whole life was my boobs, and yet I had had these boobs my whole life. And so who would I be without them? How were my clothes going to fit? What was intimacy going to be like? What would I feel when I saw myself in the mirror naked? How would I feel in the shower? What would it be like to hug someone without these implants in my body? So yeah, it was scary, and I definitely did some deep soul searching, some meditation, some affirmations. You know, I started to follow mentors like Tony Robbins, who talks about how everything happens for us and not to us. And I started to think about, okay, why did this happen for me? Why did I start getting sick from these implants? Why did I deny that there was a sickness attached to these implants? Why did I deny that for 10 years? Because my mom had mentioned to me that maybe these symptoms that I was having was from my implants. And I was like, there's no way. There's no indication of a leakage. They were saline, which is like what the body has naturally, and they're safe, they're good for life. Everything that the surgeon had told me in my early 20s, I discounted my mom. Even at my age, I'm still not listening to my mom. So it's amazing going back to, listening to somebody telling you what to do. And yet the evidence was there, and it continued to appear. And thank God for the wise, older Chinese man, the traditional Chinese medicine doctor, who said to me that I had this dirty blood ocean, and started to do some homework and started to read, other women's stories, and recognize that there was a link between my breasts and all the dis-ease in my body. Even though I'd been a holistic nutritionist, and I was eating healthy, and I was juicing, and I was supplementing, and not eating meat and not eating dairy, and doing all the things, not having fried foods, drinking lots of purified water, starting with lemon water, eating salads every day, is doing everything that they say you're meant to do, jumping on a rebounder, power walking in the morning, doing some deep breathing. And yet I was still sick. So yes, there was a huge identity crisis that I endured when I started to think about who I was going to be. I think the winning ticket, though, was to recognize that there was going to be an adaptation curve, that it wasn't just going to be a simple procedure and I'm going to wake up and be the same. So I started to prepare myself. And I think that is the key to having a successful journey and a successful outcome. So my goal was to love myself afterwards even more than I did before. That was my goal. Not only was I going to be healthier with more vitality, be an inspiration to other women, I was going to love myself even more because there was nothing fake about me. And I say that with complete and utter respect. I lived with them for 25 years. I had botox for a while. And, believe me, I understand the pressures that we feel to look a certain way. I understand being in the entertainment industry for 25 years, touring with Julio Iglesias, dating celebrities, and I was in that light for so long. And there are tremendous pressures now and then to look a certain way. It doesn't end. At 20, we want to look a certain way. We want to look older when we're 12. We want to look younger when we're 30. And then we want to be slimmer. And then we want to have the best kids and the best house and the best car and the best marriage and the best vacations and the nicest clothes. And the thing is, ladies, that it never ends unless we end it in here and in here. It never ends. We are very rarely satisfied with ourselves. We want to look younger. We want our eyes to be open. We want our jowls to be sharp. We want our hair to not have gray. We want to be fit. We want to have a six-pack ab. Whatever it is for you. We want to have fuller lips. We want to have higher cheeks. We want to have thicker eyebrows. There's so many longer nails. There's so many things that we believe is going to improve our confidence or make us more lovable. At the end of the day, if we peel back the layers of the onion, what is it that we're searching for? We're searching for a sense of belonging. We're searching for that attention or that appreciation. We're searching for love, to be loved. We want to know that we are loved and that we matter and that we are enough. And the thing is, until we recognize that we are enough without all that stuff, maybe you're never going to be enough for yourself, and yet you're enough for everybody else. And if I can share with you another thing that I learned along the way, especially in my career in the entertainment industry. I mean, I would go for a modeling gig, okay, when I lived in Miami, and I would go for a German catalog, for example, and they paid very, very well. So I would go for an audition, and I would take my book, which took years to create because they would only take the cream of the crop of my photos that had, been taken with hundreds of photographers and different things. And I would take my book and I would go to an audition, and I would line up with 200 or 300 women in the sun to go into a small little room, or it was often in the lobby of a hotel, and there'd be a line of photographers and editors and sales advertising teams sitting at this big table. And you'd stand in front of them with a smile on your face, and they'd open your book and they'd flip through a couple of pages and they'd pass it on, and you'd be out the door. And there was rejection after rejection after rejection. I would go to 2 or 3 of these every day, and I'd get a gig or two, a week. And it was great. It hardened me to the rejection on one hand, and on the other hand, I never felt like I was enough. Then you go into the acting career, and it's not just about how you look. It's also about how the words come out of your mouth and how you stand on a camera, in front of the camera, and do you know your marks, and do you know how to pay attention to lighting, and can you work with other actors, and so there's a whole other reason for them to reject you. You're too tall for the other actor, your skin is too light for the other actor, you're not the right size, to look like so-and-so's daughter or so-and-so's mother. There's constant rejection in that industry. And that's if your photo gets through the agent to actually get an audition, and then you're auditioning with 500, sometimes 1,000 people. And it's not that they want to reject you. They want you to be the one, because they don't want to be there all day looking at people and listening to people. They want you to be the one so they can close the book and get on to the next step of the project. I share this with you because we all have different needs and different likes at different times in our life, in different journeys. So when I'm going for an audition, whether it's modeling or acting, they're looking for a certain look. And it's not that they're rejecting me when I don't get it. It's just that I don't have the particular look that they have in mind for that scene or that commercial. And it's not up to me to morph and change my body or my face or my personality to fit their criteria. It's up to me to find the place that my criteria fits their gig. So let me say that again. It's not up to me to fit myself for their criteria. It's up for me to fit my criteria. It's up for me to find a place that they fit my criteria. And it's the same thing in relationships with girlfriends. If they don't love you for who you are, and they're not shining their light on you and supporting you on the things that you want to do and the person that you want to become, then maybe they're not the right girls for you to be hanging out with. If you're with a guy, or you've got your eye on a guy and he doesn't like you, or you're not the right fit for him, it doesn't mean that it's because your breasts aren't big enough, or your eyes aren't big enough, or your lips aren't big enough, or your waist isn't small enough. It's just that he has a different idea in his mind for who he wants to be with. And you will constantly be trying to fit a different mold if you tie into that guy, or you tie into those girlfriends. I don't have a bunch of girlfriends in my life that are so much different than I am, because I find myself wanting to be like them, just like I was in my early 20s when there were lots of women with getting breast implants. I wanted to belong. So now I find women that I belong with, that we look the same, we like the same things, we have similar opinions, and it works for me. I'm not saying that's great for everybody, but it allows me to look into the mirror and to love my lines and to age gracefully and to love that my body is changing every year and that I can wear, flip-flops and a casual outfit one day and I can put 5-inch heels on and red lipstick and stuff my bra the next. But I don't have to actually alter my body to belong. It's so important that I communicate this message to you because I didn't have somebody communicate that to me. And it's everything. If you can be confident in the person that you are, because you know that you are enough, that you belong, you've got your tribe that you belong in, there's a sense of pride there, that you can feel great. You just feel like you belong. That's awesome. Then you're not searching to change yourself, alter yourself, cut yourself, inject yourself to try to belong and be somebody that you're not. I don't know how else to say it. It's like, if you're not my audience, if this doesn't resonate with you, then you're not my audience. But I'm not willing to change who I am anymore to fit who you are going to like. Because if I do, you're going to like me that day or the next day. But then when I revert back to who I really am, you're not going to like me anymore. And that was just a big old waste of time. And it's just not worth it. So be who you are, be the best version of you, and be confident in who you are and attract the people who are like you to be with you. If you're a certain size, if you're very athletic and men that are athletic are attracted to you and that's who you are and that's who you like to be, then that's a great fit. If you are not athletic and you're wanting the attention from athletic men that are wanting to be with athletic women, then you might be constantly feeling like you're going up the hill. You're chasing the rainbow. Versus if you're not an athletic woman and you find an athletic man that loves to be with women who aren't athletic because that's his thing and he wants you to have yours, then there's a great match. I'm not saying that you have to be like the other person, but enjoying the same things. And it really just comes down to loving yourself for who you are and being the best version of yourself. Really, it really, really, really does. So with that, this was going to be about my breast explant journey, and it kind of turned into a confidence thing. And I just wanted to be really dirt honest with you because it has, the explant process definitely got me thinking about who I am, who I want to be, why I did that to my body, and going through all of those things and going through the questions and journaling and identifying the moments in my life that I felt I wasn't enough and I needed to change them, who I was to belong. Identifying those things gave me power in moving forward, gave me confidence and knowing where to go to heal, what to work on to be my best self, and which traumas to work on. Who was it in my childhood that says that I wasn't good enough? Or what moment did I have with someone with large breasts that was in my head that's something that I needed to be, and somebody that I needed to be, and something I needed to do? What were those moments? If you can remember them, they can be so helpful, because if you identify what triggered you to be different, you can therefore heal that and you can begin to be yourself with complete confidence. Yes, 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 yes. So in my course, I get into questions. There's so many questions there that are written there to help you identify where you made certain decisions and then go in and heal them. How these decisions impacted your life and what new decisions would be like in your next chapter of life. Everything happens for us and not to us. So these things happened for me to get to where I am right now, where I can love myself and I can age gracefully. And I don't look at myself as, oh my gosh, I look so much older than my girlfriend. My girlfriend has lots of Botox and she gets her hair colored and she's got lip injections and, all kinds of other things. And so she looks 10 or 15 years younger than I do. That doesn't mean that she's any better of a person or worse of a person. It doesn't mean that I'm any less or I don't belong. It just means that that's her thing. This is my thing. And I've gotten to a place where I'm okay with that. And I also have to have girlfriends in my life, or at least at this stage of my life, that are all natural like me, so that I recognize that this is natural, that all of these lines are natural. And the you know, the lips kind of going down here, that is a natural part of life. That the you know, the injections to have the little smile up here, that's great for some ladies. I don't want to do that because I'm, like I said, it's never ending. It'll be this, and then it'll be this, and then it'll be slicing this, and then it'll be slicing this, and it's never going to be enough. And I think of some celebrities that are much older, and they you know, they just I don't know what they're chasing. They're chasing the way that they used to look, and they want to freeze frame their face in time to how they were when they were 25. And that's great. I love it. It's just not me. And so please, no disrespect. This is not a bash on anybody or anything to do with plastic surgery or lip injections or anything. I admire the women that have it. They look gorgeous. I just am not willing to have that maintenance in my life. I'm not willing to chase that youth. And thankfully, I attracted a man in my life who loves me for me. And you know, his mom, who he's really close with and has tremendous respect for, she doesn't wear makeup. She doesn't, you know, she doesn't wear dresses. She definitely doesn't, you know, have any injections, or she's aging and she's proud of it because she's raised beautiful children and had a phenomenal life. And so my husband's role model of a confident, powerful, loving, nurturing woman that he admires and respects has aged naturally. And I somehow have more freedom, more confidence to know that that's okay. That he grew up with a belief system that we age as women and men, and that's okay. And I look at him the same way. I don't worry about things that start to sag, or, you know, hair that starts to show up. And I don't want him to be anybody that he's not. I love him for him. And if we don't have love for ourselves at that level yet, then that's a great opportunity to look at how that would look. You know, what can we do in our lives to make that happen? Can we volunteer so that we're feeling like we're contributing to the world? I know that if I need a pick-me-up, or I don't feel good about myself, or I don't have a lot of joy, or I'm focused so much on my looks, then I'm not contributing enough because I've got all the focus on me. And inward focus can be debilitating. It can be dangerous. And outward focus is so beautiful. Outward focus is how people remember us. Outward focus. You know, we very rarely remember what people say, and yet we remember how we felt when we listened to them or when we were with them. And it's the same thing. Have you ever met the older woman or the older man who smiles and they just light up a room, and they've got so many wrinkles? There's like, you know, there's layers upon layers upon layers. There's like rolls in their face because they've got so much life in their face, so much amazing wisdom in their face, and they smile and they're the most beautiful person in the world. That's who I want to be. And it's okay if you allow yourself to age gracefully. Yeah. So getting my breast implants out was so much easier than I thought, because I did the work, because I recognized all those things that I talk about, and because I started to look for evidence to support me being beautiful without them. Instead of looking for evidence to support me needing to be somebody that I'm not, I was looking for all that social proof that natural boobs were wonderful, they were beautiful, and that I was enough without my implants. So that made the surgery so much better. And coming out, you know, I'm not gonna lie, when we took the bandages off a couple of days after surgery, and there was the first initial reveal I cried because there was, huge incisions, huge scars on my body that I felt like, oh my gosh, what did I do to myself? What did I do to this body that God gave me, the universe gave me? What did I do? I didn't think that it was enough, and I cut it up, and I suffered, and I just feel like I let my body down. So I was a bit torn up and feeling pretty guilty about that. And then I remembered everything happens for us and not to us. Everything happens for us and not to us. So I learned to embrace the scars. And don't get me wrong, I massage them with, my propolis, and I'm hoping that they're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And yet they're always going to be there to remind me that I am enough. These scars are such a gift to remind me that I am enough, that my boobs do not define me. My confidence defines me. How I show up, my heart defines me. Who I am, that's what defines me. How I make a difference in other people's lives, that's what defines me. My legacy is not my breasts. It's not the youth on my face. It's not the car that I drive. It's not the house that I live in. My legacy is the heart that I leave behind everywhere that I go. It's the smile that I bring to a room. It's the smile that I bring to a stranger. It's the hello that I bring on my morning walks to complete strangers who are staring at the floor. That is, that's just so much more than my breasts ever were. And the same could be for you if that's what you want. So after the surgery, I had a good cry, and I don't compare my boobs to the way that they were before, or I don't even compare my boobs to the way they were before the surgery. I just want to be fully present in who I am right now, and I want to be grateful for the body that I have, and the health that I have, and the voice that I have, and the brain that I have, and the legs and the knees and the fingers and the taste buds and the eyes that I can see and the ears that I can hear and the heart that beats for me over 100,000 times a day, every day, without me doing anything. All I had to do was be born to have this heart, and as long as it beats, I live. I have so much to be grateful for, including this plane that's flying above. Because if I didn't have the ears that I have, I wouldn't be able to hear the plane. And so I'm grateful for the plane. They remind me of the ears that I was given with hearing. And I'm finding gratitude in everything. And I hope that you can too. I really do. I hope that my wish for you is that if you have breast implants, you recognize that they are not who you are. They've been a part of you for a while, and they don't have to define you. They aren't who you are. And maybe you can come to peace with the gifts that they've given you, and that you're ready to give the gifts away, give them back, because your health and your vitality is so much more important. If you're thinking about getting breast implants, and I would just ask you to reconsider, because there's no going back. Once you slice open, they're there, and you've got to get them replaced every 10 years. If you're lucky, they'll last 10 years. Not every woman gets health issues that they recognize. Science will show that the moment you put an implant of any sort, whether it's a tooth implant or a knee implant or a breast implant, that the autoimmune system is designed, your immune system is designed to figure out what foreign object has gone into your body and get it out. And so, you think about a splinter, and you get a splinter in your finger, and you pick it and you pick it and you pick it, and you can't get it out, and eventually you just leave it because it's all swollen and it hurts, and there's sliver is still in there, and a couple of days later it's pushed itself out. That's because it was a foreign object in the body, and the same happens with breast implants. So your body is definitely doing something. It's trying to eat the silicone shell of the implant. It's trying to get rid of it. It's trying to move it. It's trying to dissolve it. So it's definitely, your body is under duress to address this foreign object. Whether you feel the symptoms or not everybody is different. But the science will show that it's definitely causing a lot of energy a lot of energy is being taken from you to address these implants in your body. And to think that I had 25 years of my body working to get these foreign objects out of my body, it's amazing. I'm so grateful to still be here and to be healthy. I'm not wanting to make this melodramatic, seriously. I just wanted to make a point of saying, if you're still thinking about getting them, just understand the risks and do some really deep work and understand why you're getting them, why you think you're getting them. And, you know, is it a person? Is it a career move? And are you really, 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 really convinced that you're not enough without them? Like, who is the person that you would become to fall in love with yourself as you are? Would you have to learn more about yourself? Would you have to develop more skills? Would you have to be kinder? Would you have to contribute in your community? Would you have to volunteer to love yourself more, to respect yourself more, to believe that you were enough? What would you have to do other than breast implants or anything else that you're considering doing? What would you have to do? What are some alternatives? What are some things that you could do? Now, if you just love a woman with big breasts and you want to have big breasts, you know, that's something that you want to have, and your reasons are your reasons. But I would want to know why. Where did you determine that that was beautiful? If it's not natural, what led you to believe that it was beautiful? And there's no right or wrong. It's just a self-exploration. It's just getting in and going, that's a great question. Okay, where did I make that decision that they were beautiful and I'd be more beautiful with them? And just explore it. There's no right or wrong. It's your life. You get to do anything that you want to do with your life. And, you know, I guess that's all I got to say. So I love you, and you are loved, and you are enough wherever you are, whatever size you are, whatever age you are, whatever race you are, whatever sex you are enough. You are God's highest form of creation. When you think about the man and woman that had to come together to create you, and the egg having to find the sperm, and the chances of them, you know, making love to create you, and then the chance of you surviving in the womb, and the chance of you being delivered alive and healthy and living through your baby years and your toddler years to get to this place. My gosh, the odds are in the trillions that you're here. And so you've got to know deep inside. You've got to know deep inside. And sometimes you got to lift a couple of layers to have a look. And sometimes you got to go like what seems like the core of the earth to look. But way down in there, you do know that you're enough. Just latch onto that and surround yourself with people who love you for you, who are going to tell you that you are enough and are going to cheer for you if that's what you want. I believe in you. I love you. I'm so grateful for this moment. Thank you for your time and your attention. And just thanks for being here. If you know somebody that could benefit from this, you know, if they're having some self-esteem issues, or they're with a guy that thinks that, you know, his girlfriend should get implants, or you've got someone in your life that has them and they're scared to get them out, or they haven't even considered getting them out, but they're struggling with self-worth, or if you know someone that's thinking of getting implants, maybe this video will be helpful. Maybe there's a daughter or a mother or a sister or cousin or a friend's girlfriend or somebody. I don't want this to be awkward. I just want it to be a conversation. And it's a bit awkward for me because it's a one-way conversation, but hopefully you will comment below if anything resonated with you, if you've learned anything, if you've got any questions for me, if you want to take my course, you know, whatever. I'm just here to serve. I'm here to give back because I've been so blessed in my life. And that's it. Bye.